Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, you're watching the second game of the doubleheader coverage of men's and women's basketball right here on CSI Sportsnet. Today, in game number 2 of this doubleheader, the College of Staten Island will take on Lehman College as the men's basketball team really looking to turn things around. They've gone into a little bit of a slump as of late, having lost 4 out of their last 5 and 6 out of their last 8 games. And they're going to take on a very tough Lehman College Lightning team here in game number 2. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Babuski as we get ready to bring you the second game of our doubleheader coverage. And, for the men's basketball team, they're looking to bounce back off of a tough loss at home against Brooklyn College as the Dolphins dropped that game by 17 points, losing the game by a final score of 77-60. And, it was a game where the College of Staten Island fell behind early and really never could make their way back into the game. They went into halftime trailing by 19 points. And really in the second half, although able to outscore Brooklyn College by a couple of points, really never able to get back in contention and give themselves an opportunity to win that game down the stretch. As Dolphins coming into today's game, as you can see on your screen, with a record of 5-10 on the year, and they will face a Lehman College team that is 8-6 for the Dolphins. On Saturday afternoon, Joe Ziris led the team in scoring as he finished with 16 points. Rigo Destine second with 14, and Adeola Latunji, who came in averaging well over 21 points a game for the Dolphins, just 4 of 13 from the field in that game, and he finished with 12 points. And the Dolphins will be shorthanded tonight as Rigo Destine not available to play for the Dolphins, and that's going to be something that could really hurt them in the game tonight. A Dolphin team that's been struggling a little bit offensively to begin with, averaging 68 points a game while allowing 82 points a game, and with Destine out, a player that's averaging just under 10 points a game for the Dolphins not available. And CSI really needing to get back in the win column here tonight. The Dolphins will play a game here tonight, then be off for a week before going on the road to play against Baruch College. That game a week from tonight. So Dolphins really trying to get back into the win column, get feeling good about themselves. Their only win in their last 5 games was back last week as they were able to defeat Hunter 67-59 after dropping 3 straight to Wheaton, John Jay, and York College. And the Dolphins this year with losses against what used to be Kudiak Conference opponents against Medgar Evers, John Jay, York College, and Brooklyn. Dolphins with 4 losses. And, this is a CSI Dolphin team that really lost more than 1 or 2 games in the regular season in conference play over the last couple of years. So they're really looking to get themselves back on track. We mentioned Adeola Latunji, the only player averaging double digits for the Dolphins at 21.6 points a game. Joe Ziris has been playing better on the offensive end, and he scored 33 points in his last 2 games, and he's got his scoring average just under 10 points a game. And they're going to face a Lehman College team that's been very effective offensively, averaging just under 78 points a game. They allow just under 76 points a game. 3 players in double figures for the Lightning. Isaiah Gathers averaging just under 18 points, 7.5 rebounds a game. Gian Batista also over 17 points, in addition to 5 assists and 6.5 rebounds. And Tommy Batista, who's averaging 11 points. So the Lightning, a big team, a strong team. They're playing well, and you know that this is a team that the Dolphins defeated in the 2018 CUNYAC Championships, and they won their last 2 regular season meetings against this team. So, the Lightning are going to come out motivated here this afternoon, and, the Dolphins really need a good, solid performance here in this game tonight to try to get themselves back on track and, set themselves up for a nice run here in January and February. The men's basketball team, nothing but CUNYAC opponents remaining on the schedule after the game against Lehman College here tonight. 9 games remaining in the season for the Dolphins, and all of them against CUNYAC opponents. So for the College of Staten Island, they're looking to get back in the win column here tonight. And to do so, they're going to have to defeat a very good Lehman College team that, coming in having lost their last game against Hunter College, but really playing well overall on the year. And Dolphins are going to need to play a better game tonight and really try to get themselves off to a good start. So while the players are being introduced out on the floor, why don't we bring you the starting lineups tonight? As you can see, the starting lineups for Lehman College up on your screen. Number 10, Mo Idrisu. Number 15, Gian Batista. Number 22, Tommy Batista. Number 23, leading scorer, Isaiah Gathers. And number 30, Alex Hansen. For the College of Staten Island, Adeola Latunji, Austin Mick. Number 5, number 12, Andrew Cartalis. Number 24, Joseph Ziris. And number 42, James Delahanty, the senior, getting a start here tonight. We mentioned Rigo Desteem not playing in the game here tonight, as he will be sidelined. So the Dolphins will be looking to see if they could get some additional scoring out of their starting lineup here tonight, as James Delahanty being introduced out on the floor here for the Dolphins. James getting a start here tonight for the College of Staten Island, and for Delahanty, it'll be his 3rd start of the year. Andrew Cartalis, who coming back after missing a couple games, came back in the lineup against Brooklyn College. Austin Mick, the point guard that's been really handling most of the basketball point guard responsibilities. And Adeola Latunji, we mentioned Adeola struggled in that game against Brooklyn College, finishing with just 12 points on 4 of 13 shooting. So he'll be looking to bounce back here for the Dolphins tonight as well. So the players huddled up in their benches for the final time, as we get moments away from the start of game number 2 of this doubleheader. For those of you who thought this game might be underway already, it was originally scheduled to be a 7:30 start. The women's basketball team arriving a little bit late pushed the start times back 15 minutes for both games, so we're about ready to get underway. The Lightning out on the floor, the Dolphins filing their way out on the floor, and we're just moments away from the start of tonight's game. As soon as the clock gets set, we should be ready to go. 20 minutes up on the scoreboard. Ziris will jump against Gathers. The tip is underway, and it's Latunji looking to drive down the lane. The ball knocked out of bounds, so it'll remain Dolphin basketball as they control the opening tip. Ziris to inbound for the Dolphins. As that pass is lobbed up over to Latunji, it goes off his hands and into the hands of Idrisu, and the Lightning able to lay that one up and in, and they get their first basket of the game off of a Dolphin turnover, and they lead by a score of 2-0. Mick with the basketball. Mick looking to work against Tommy Batista. Working the ball up over to Cartalis. He looks to feed it to Delahanty. Off its hands, and the Dolphins have turned the ball over once again. Gathers drives down the lane. That shot is up, no good. 2 Dolphins on the floor, and the Dolphins come away with the basketball. Mick now will back up and look to set things up offensively for the Dolphins. Dolphins 2 possessions, 2 turnovers in the first minute of play here tonight. Mick over to Latunji. Latunji's jumper is good. So Latunji off to a good start tonight. He gets his first basket of the game, tied at 2. Batista bouncing the ball inside for Gathers. Tough fadeaway jumper by Isaiah is good. Gathers gets his first basket of the night, and the Lightning lead by a score of 4-2. Mick bringing the ball across the midcourt line, guarded by Tommy Batista as the Dolphins weave well out beyond the three-point line as the shot clock winds down to 10 seconds. Latunji trying to fight his way inside, but he'll turn the ball over. 3 turnovers for the Dolphins in the first 2 minutes as that ball will be knocked out of bounds and it will remain Lightning basketball. Shot clock was reset to 30. I'm not sure that was correct. Let's see if the officials leave it at 30. They don't. They shut it back down to 27. Batista with the basketball. Batista working against Latunji. Bounce pass goes up over to Hansen. Hansen trying to work his way against Delahanty. He kicks the ball out now to Idrosu. His long shot is up, no good. And Ziris is there to grab the rebound for the Dolphins. Mick working the ball up across the midcourt line. Now Latunji hands off to Cartalis. Mick with the basketball. Now it's Cartalis at the three-point line inside of 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And Dolphins very sloppy with the basketball. Turned the ball over 4 times in the first 2 minutes and 45 seconds of the game here tonight. Fortunate to be down just by a score of 4-2. Batista feeding it off to Idrosu. His shot is up, no good. Hansen goes up with the rebound. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, but we're going to have a whistle and a foul, our first foul of the game. And that will be on James Delahanty, as that's going to send Alex Hansen to the free throw line to shoot 2. The Lightning shooting 61% as a team from the free throw line. Hansen 14 of 28, 50%, and he misses the first. One more free throw upcoming here for Hansen. 3 minutes into this game, and the Lightning up by a score of 4-2 is Hansen, a 50% free throw shooter, misses the pair. And Cartalis grabs the rebound for the Dolphins as they'll bring the ball up across the midcourt line. Cartalis feeding it over to Delahanty. Now they get the ball inside to Ziris. Ziris cross-court pass to Mick. Now to Cartalis. He sees a little room down the lane and takes it and lays it up and in. Cartalis with his first basket of the game ties this game up at 4. Batista. Now Gaithers with the basketball, but he's going to get the traveling violation called. So now it's the Lightning with the turnover and the Dolphins with the basketball. Both teams off to a slow start offensively. 4-4 the score, 16-20 remaining here in the first half. Mick with the basketball looking to work against Batista as he gets the ball across the midcourt line for the Dolphins. Cartalis out at the three-point line. Bounce pass inside to Ziris. Ziris feeds it to a wide-open Delahanty, who lays it up and in. Nice pass that time by Joe Ziris as Delahanty gets his first basket of the game. And the Dolphins now lead by a score of 6-4. Long three-point shot put up that time by Gian Batista is no good. And Dolphins there to grab the rebound. Mick now gets the ball up over to Cartalis. Cartalis looked to feed the ball inside. Turnover number 5 for the Dolphins. And here come the Lightning, as that time it's Gaithers who lays it up and in. But instead it will be an offensive foul. Nice defensive play that time by the Dolphins. And we're going to have a whistle out on the floor And that's going to be the first timeout of this first half. So we'll step aside, take a break. 15:29 remaining in the first half. Dolphins lead by a score of 6-4. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back with 15:29 remaining here in this first half. The Dolphins 3 of 3 from the field, leading by a score of 6-4. They've turned the ball over 5 times already here in this first half, but have hit their shots from the field, have forced a couple of lightning turnovers, and Lehman just 2 of 6 from the field. So the Dolphins find themselves up with a 2-point lead, 6-4. Delahanty with the basketball out well behind the three-point line, guarded by Hansen. Dolphins turn the ball over as Gaithers takes the ball down the lane and jams it home. 6 turnovers now for the Dolphins as they're making things a struggle for themselves as we're now tied at 6 apiece. Lightning looking to press the Dolphins in the backcourt here as they look to get the ball inbounds. And it's Mick with the basketball now for the Dolphins as he's able to bring the ball up across the midcourt line, able to get past Tommy Batista and set up the Dolphin offense. Cortales feeding it inside to Ziris. Ziris powers down the lane and lays it up and in. Ziris with his first basket of the game, and the Dolphins lead by a score of 8-6 as we're going to have a whistle as Cortales is able to come away with the steal, and then he's going to get fouled as Mo Adrasu picking up the personal foul for the Lightning. For Mo, that's going to be his first, second team foul for the Lightning. Mick with the basketball as Austin brings the ball across the midcourt line, and Batista there to guard him as those two have been going at it here through the first 5.5 minutes of this first half. Ziris trying to drive down the lane. He loses possession and the handle, turns it over, but the Lightning turn the ball right back over. Ziris able to drive down the lane. He misses the shot, but Will Feldman, who checked into the game for the Lightning, will pick up the foul. So Feldman picks up the foul, his first, the team's third. Ziris will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Joe, a 58% free throw shooter, 23 of 40 coming into the game tonight, and he hits the first. 9-6, the Dolphins have a 3-point lead, their biggest lead here early in the game. As Joe's second free throw is up, in and out. And Gaither's there to grab the rebound for the Lightning. Feldman, Gaithers feeds the ball inside as that time Kamara trying to power his way to the basket, misses the shot, but able to draw the foul. And he'll go to the free throw line here to shoot 2 as Adeola Latunji will go to the free throw line, will pick up the foul, I should say. Second team foul of the Dolphins, as Kamara will go to the free throw line here to shoot 2. Kamara just 12 of 32, 38% from the free throw line. here this year, and he hits the first, and he hits the pair, and that draws the Lightning to within 9-8, as we're now joined by Dave Pizzuto. Hey, Dave, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Mike. I'm doing well, Mike. I don't know if you guys pick me up, but I think I'm on now.
So Latunji lays that one up and in. So Dave, Dolphins getting off to a good start on the women's side, and a good start here tonight as they have themselves a 3-point lead.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed, Mike. After that tough loss the other day, it's good to see the Dolphins get out to a good start, and this way they can temper the game, in this first half from here.
So Gaithers with the basketball, now feeding the ball out to Feldman. Lightning work the ball in the corner. Adrosu with the long three-pointer. That's up no good, and Ziris there to grab the rebound. And Dave, Dolphins struggling a little bit coming into the game tonight.
Oh, without a doubt. They're limping in, too. They're without Rigo Destime tonight, who's inactive. They've been without Andrew Cartalis for a few games. He's back. Good to see him get on the floor for that last scramble as well. Mike shows that he's almost 100%.
So Latunji misses that jumper, and here come the Lightning with the basketball, trailing by 3. Feldman working it over to Adrosu. Now Batista with the basketball, guarded there by Mick. Cross-court pass, goes over to Adrosu. He drives down the lane, and his floater is up and in. He's got 4, and the Lightning pull to within 1.
Yeah, dynamic sophomore here from the Bronx for Lehman. Lightning hoping for big things from Adrosu, and they're getting it here in the early stages. 11-10
the score. Dolphins lead by 1 as Ziris tries to power his way inside, and we're going to have a whistle and a blocking foul on the play. So Ziris able to draw the personal foul. 4th team foul for the Lightning, and that foul's going to be on Gaithers. 2 quick ones on Isaiah, Dave.
Yeah, and he'll come actually out of the game. It was Batista who came out of the game. So staying in the game with his 2 fouls is Gathers, Mike, and you're right. He might get pulled, and he does. So he'll have to give way to Ocean Scott. And, Lehman does go deeper, Mike, on their bench than CSI does, but that's a good sign for the Dolphins.
Cartalis putting up the open three-pointer. That's no good. A fight for the rebound, and that's going to go off the hands of Ocean Scott, and it will remain Dolphin basketball.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? When you are struggling from the floor, and the Dolphins have in spells this season, you need things like that. You need heads-up play, tipping balls, trying to, get to open rebounds that go wide. And, the Dolphins did a good job of getting a second chance here.
Mick with the basketball will pull the ball out as the Dolphins will look to set up offensively with their 1-point lead. Mick putting up his first shot of the game, a three-pointer. That's no good, and Scott there to grab the rebound for the Lightning. Feldman bringing the ball up across the midcourt line. Worked in the corner now to Gian Batista. Running one-hander by Scott is good. Nice-looking shot by the freshman as he picks up his first basket of the game.
You're right, Mike. He just checked into the game. He's one of only 2 freshmen on this Lightning team. And to score a quick basket like that's got to give him a lot of confidence.
So Kopech tried to drive down the line, and he's going to draw the foul, but first, we're going to have a timeout on the floor, and it will be immediate timeout. So we'll step aside, take a break. 11 minutes, 43 seconds remaining in this first half with the score. Lightning 12, Dolphin 11. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can. And then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for. Because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
So Kopech inbounds the basketball after the Ocean Scott foul. That ball will be knocked out of bounds. So Kopech will get another chance to inbound, this time with 23 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Cartalis feeds the ball inside to Ziris. Ziris trying to back his way in, and the nice run-hander in the lane is good. And Ziris has a lot of moves down low, Dave.
Yeah, and he's one of the lone real inside threats for this team, especially as we turn the corner on the second half of the season. He's really emerged as their only real inside answer.
As that time Camaro showing nice hands around the basket as the 6'5 sophomore lays it up and in. He has 4, and that gives the Lightning their 1-point lead back. As Ziris' jumper in the lane, that's in and out. The Lightning control the rebound, and here comes Batista. Batista, floater in the lane. That's no good. It's going to be knocked out of bounds.
Looks like last touch by Kopech, Mike.
So it will be Lightning basketball.
It's a big moment in the game here for the Dolphins, Mike, who led for the, pretty much the opening 8 minutes or so, 7.5, 8 minutes. Now Lehman has taken the lead back a couple times. It's up to the Dolphins to temper this run.
And now Ocean Scott steps back and drills the 3, Dave. So he's got 5 points already, and the Lightning have their biggest lead of the game, 17-13. Latunji with the basketball. He's got 4 points here in the early going. Kopech puts up that 3-pointer. That's no good. And here come the Lightning looking to run as it's Camara feeding the ball inside to Scott, whose layup is up no good. But he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. And since Scott's checked into the game, the Lightning have really picked up their offensive play, and he's really been a big part of it, Dave.
Yeah, and Mike, I missed the first 5 or 6 minutes as we had a swim meet, but it seems like Lehman is really cutting into the inside lane, early in their possessions, testing the Dolphins early, attacking the hole early, and it's leading to good opportunities inside with good looks. And then, of course, when they get to the line, that always works as well.
So Scott hits 1 of 2. He has 6 points since checking into the game, and the Lightning open up their lead now to 18-13. They have a 5-point lead. Latunji with the basketball. Bounce pass over to Velasquez. Now it's Ziris over to Kopech, who's going to get called for the travel. 7th turnover, Dave, here in the early going. The Dolphins were able to weather it early, Dave. They had like 5 turnovers in the first 3 minutes, but now the Lightning starting to make it hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, and the Dolphins now are a -3 in the turnover category, and they're also a -2 in the rebounding category. And, those are the more intricate stats that when the Dolphins are doing well in those categories, they're usually doing well on the scoreboard as well, and vice versa.
Batista with the basketball. He feeds the ball inside to Scott, who lays it up and in. And exciting-looking freshman player. 8 points already, Dave. And head coach T.J. Tibbs has seen enough as Scott has been able to really take it to the Dolphins here in the early going. It's going to be a 30-second timeout, so let's keep it right here, Dave. The Dolphins really struggled in that first half against Brooklyn College, got off to an early 4-point lead, but Lehman has been able to swing it around to 11 points, and they lead by 7.
Yeah, and this is kind of what has hampered the Dolphins in their recent few games, Mike, growing cold from the field, turning the ball over, and then other teams being able to execute effectively. And, Lehman hasn't really done anything super special, but they're on an 8-0 run, and that's in large part due to, the Dolphins missing their last few shots down the floor, turning the ball over, and Lehman attacking, the paint, getting inside on the Dolphins, and, scoring some good looks. Got to give the team in blue a lot of credit.
So the Lightning come up and show a little bit of a press, but Velasquez able to bring the ball up across the midcourt line for the Dolphins. He feeds it over to Mick, whose 3-pointer is good. Dolphins needed that one, Dave.
Oh, they sure do, and they need, a player like Austin Mick to step up from the outside with Desteem not playing and active tonight. Makes players like Mick all the more important.
Camara feeding the ball out to Scott. Scott working the ball now in the corner to Batista. He'll back it out to Feldman. There's plenty of time remaining on the shot clock for the Lightning. Feldman looking to work against Batista. A nice feed inside to Scott, who lays it up and in, and he's been really killing the Dolphins, Dave. He's already up to double digits with 10 points in just a few minutes of play.
Yeah, and 14 of Lehman's points have come off the bench, and obviously he's been the catalyst with 10 on his own.
Velasquez, the behind-the-back dribble. He feeds it inside to Latunji. His layup is up no good, but he'll draw the foul.
Yeah, and some of the success that the opponents have had against the Dolphins in recent weeks has been their ability to play Adeola Latunji very well, especially down low when Adeola likes to attack the rim. They've been fronting up a lot better on him, forcing him to the outside looks much of the time. Addie's a very good free throw shooter, but misses the first.
Yeah, I believe he shot just 4 of 13 in that loss to Brooklyn College. And he'll have one more free throw upcoming. And, Dave, when the Dolphins were playing well, he was scoring up in the 20s, the high 20s, even getting above that. And, when he struggles to score, it really is tough for the Dolphins to find a lot of offense.
Yeah, and, even still with the Dolphins' struggles, he's averaging just a little under 22 points per game. But really, Mike, it's been the fact that he's been the only consistent scoring threat game in and game out. Obviously, opponents are able to key in on that, and it's okay to give him 15, 20 shots a game, but if there's always a hand in your face, if you're always double-teamed, it's going to be really hard to get those percentages up above the 50% mark.
So the Lightning miss a couple of shot opportunities, and we're going to have a jump ball possession, and that will remain in possession of the Lightning. So Lehman now, with the last couple of rebounds, out-rebounding the Dolphins 10-6 and a couple of more offensive rebounds for the Lightning on that last possession.
Yeah, and offensive rebounds are 4-1 in favor of the Lightning, so this leads to a lot more second chance points. The Dolphins don't have a single second chance point. Lehman with 3, so the numbers still on the modest side, but Lehman taking advantage when they can.
So the Lightning to inbound the basketball. The bounce pass goes into Traore. The shot is up no good, and Mick up among the trees to grab the rebound for the Dolphins. Mick feeding the ball inside to Latunji. He has the ball stripped away. Turnover number 8 for the Dolphins, but the Lightning have the turnover of their own, Dave, as they commit their 5th turnover.
Yeah, and that time, the turnover by Latunji is because you had John Batista all over him, as well as Sibri Traore, and they both converged on him. As soon as Adeola touched that ball, forced the turnover.
Zeris with the basketball now, looking to work along the baseline. He tries to fight through a double team. That shot is up no good. Kamara with the rebound for the Lightning. Kamara trying to drive inside on Kopech, and he's able to power over him and lay it up and in.
Yeah, I really like the way Lehman just decides to attack the rim, Mike. As soon as they get the ball in their hands, no waiting, no signal calling back there in the backcourt. Get that ball, attack the hole.
18-9 run by the Lightning as Zeris puts up that long jumper. That's up. No good, and the Lightning there to grab the rebound once again. Batista. Now they work the ball up in the corner. Tommy Batista gets the ball back on the give and go. That shot is blocked away, and Latunji comes away with the basketball for the Dolphins.
Yeah, rare block that time for Velasquez, but he had good positioning there, was able to deflect that ball aside.
Latunji with the basketball. Latunji pulling up for that long jumper, and that's good.
Yeah, Dolphins would love for Adeola to get warm from long range. That will force the defense to respect that shot more, and that's when he can really take it to the basket.
The Dolphins force another turnover and now have an opportunity to cut into that 5-point Lehman College lead. A lot of history between these two teams, Dave. Dolphins won the 2018 QDAC Championship as Latunji pulls up and hits that three-pointer. He's now 4 of 5 from the field today, Dave.
Yeah, he recognizes it. His team, against the ropes a little bit, down by as many as 7, wants to bring him back in the game. Dolphins cut it to a 1-score game.
5 points in a row for the Dolphins as they are able to force another turnover. As you see Latunji hit that three-pointer.
Yeah, that was a clean block that time by Zeris, Mike, and he's been a shot blocker all season long for the Dolphins. Doesn't shy away from contact back there, that's a good change of possession.
Zira's trying to feed it inside. Nice job by Latunji to save that one. Over to Velasquez. Mick with the open three-pointer, and that's good. And just like that, the Dolphins go out in front by a 25-24 score, Davis. The Dolphins have scored the last 8 points. So it's going to be a full timeout. We'll step aside, take a break. 5 minutes, 52 seconds remaining in the first half. Dolphins 25, Lightning 24. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back with 5 minutes and 52 seconds remaining here in the first half. Dave, the Dolphins on an 8-0 run. They're shooting over 55% from the field, and they regain a 1-point lead.
Yeah, the Dolphins are tough to figure out like that, Mike. They've had some scoring droughts in some of these games that they were, that they went on to lose, but they have the ability to also get hot. And Mike, one of the things that I was talking to Joe Foreman about in the office during the week is, the Dolphins, sometimes struggling with hitting open looks. And the last few times down the floor, they've had open looks. And when you start hitting those open shots, it changes the entire complexion of the game. Dolphins have been doing that last few minutes.
Dolphins come out in zone here as that open shot from the baseline by Adrosu is up no good. And we're going to have a whistle and a foul on the play. And that's going to be a foul on the Lightning. That'll be their 7th team foul, and that will lead to a 1-1.
Yeah, so the Dolphins.
Ooh. Big foul, Dave, number 3 on Gaithers. So head coach Steve Schulman took a chance and kept them in the game, and Gaithers will now have to come out with 3 personals, Dave.
Yeah, Gaithers and Batista both hovering just under 18 points per game. And they do between the two of them, Mike, they're averaging, about 40% of this Lehman College offense.
As Velasquez hits the front end of a 1-1, Chris shooting 65%. He was 13 of 20 coming into the game. He hits the first, and the Dolphins open their lead back up to 2, 26-24.
And with the short bench that the Dolphins have, it puts so much of a microscope on Velasquez's gameplay, because as his gameplay goes in and out, so does the Dolphins bench numbers, Mike, as a whole.
10-0 run by the Dolphins as Scott misses that three-pointer and got a little too aggressive trying to chase his own rebound, and he's going to pick up the foul, and that's going to send the Dolphins right back to the free throw line, Dave. And Dolphins have really turned it around in the last couple of minutes on this 10-0 run.
Yeah, Lehman needs to be wise to know how they really were attacking the Dolphins before, and that's with their play on the inside. Now, with 8 team fouls, obviously some of your bigger guys with foul trouble now, you can't take too many risks, but Lightning need to attack where they've had success.
So Ziris hits the front end of the 1-1. He's a 58% free throw shooter coming into the game, and he'll have one more upcoming.
See his line now, he's up to 6 points. And that's number 7.
Yeah, so he hits them both. The Dolphins now 6 of 8 from the free throw line, and they have their biggest lead of the game, 29-24 on a 12-0 run. As the Lightning looks so good offensively, but the Dolphins have done a nice job really turning up the defensive intensity.
Yeah, without a doubt. That was a big moment in the game with Lehman up by 7 points, and Dolphins have responded very favorably.
So the Lightning now with the basketball as that's Atkinson working the ball in the corner to Batista. That shot is up, no good, but second chance opportunity is streaking down the lane that time is Jerome Atkinson, and he lays it up and in to break the Dolphin run.
Yeah, so Batista takes a three, gets fortunate with the long rebound, gets it himself, and then Lehman decides to once again attack the rim and score a quick two.
Dolphins turn the ball over, but able to get it back as now it's Mick with the basketball. That's going to be knocked out of bounds. Shot clock never reset, so it'll be the Dolphins basketball with 13 to shoot.
Tough break because Velasquez was standing there wide open, and unfortunately Mick couldn't get the pass to him cleanly.
Mick with the basketball, looking to work against Batista. Mick driving down the lane and lays it up and in. Good strong move that time by Austin Mick.
Yeah, he's feeling it. Very demonstrative after the basket, Mike. He's up to 8 points and really understands how his role is blooming.
31-26 the score. Dolphins 11 of 19 from the field here in this first half. Nice feed inside as that time Atkinson may have gotten away with a walk, but the Dolphins come away with the basketball. And it'll be Mick bringing the ball up the floor for the Dolphins inside of 4 minutes remaining here in this first half. Mick with the basketball guarded by Batista. Now it's Velasquez. Ziris out by the three-point line. He lobs it inside to Latunji. Nice defensive play by the Lightning, and here comes Lehman. Batista, tough shot that time is up. No good, and Velasquez is going to be on the end line, so it will be Lightning basketball with 3:39 remaining here in this first half.
Tough break. What I will say on this timeout, Mike will pause first.
So we're going to step aside 3 minutes and 39 seconds remaining here in the first half. Dolphins lead 31-26. You're watching men's basketball coverage on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back with 3 minutes and 39 seconds remaining here in this first half. And, Dave, the Dolphins have been able to use 55% shooting from the field to open up their 5-point lead.
Yeah, they've taken 8 less shots than Lehman has. Now, they have gone to the line on their fair share, but they're down in the turnover category. They're down in the rebounding category. But the difference, Mike, has been that shooting. And the Dolphins have been doing it inside and out and getting big shots when they needed it most. And Lehman's gotten a little colder here as they've been relegated to the outside a little bit more.
So Batista feeding it to Batista. That's Jean to Tommy. And we're going to have a whistle, and now the Dolphins will pick up their 4th team foul as Austin Mick will pick up his first. Batista with the basketball out by the three-point line, feeds it out over to Batista, and his shot is up, no good. And Velasquez there to grab the rebound for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and Lehman now, Mike, 1 of 9 from three-point range. And if you take those away, they're 10 of 20 otherwise. So much, much better shooting team from the inside than the out.
Latunji puts up the three-pointer. That's no good. And we're going to have a whistle and an offensive foul on James Delahanty. He doesn't like the call.
No, he doesn't. It looked like he was stationary down there. I think he just extended too far.
So James, who started the game tonight, picks up his second, team's 5th team foul. And the Lightning with the basketball, trailing here by 5. Batista over to Scott. The turnaround by Adroso is up no good. And the Dolphins there to grab the rebound. And they've done a pretty good job on the glass here tonight so far, Dave.
Yeah, they have. And that time, Delahanty with perfect position, never had to move out of that 2-3 zone. Right in the middle there, clogging things up.
Latunji over to Mick. He has some space, and he has the open three-pointer, and he buries it.
That's the shooter we know Austin Mick can be. 4 of 5 now from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point range, and he now takes over the team lead in scoring with 11.
17-2 run for the Dolphins as that floater is up no good, and Mick comes away with the basketball, but he was standing on the end line, so it will remain Lightning basketball as you have an opportunity to see Austin Mick bury that three-pointer. He's got 11, Dave.
Yeah, 11 points now, leads the team and playing well. He made a nice defensive play just now, Mike, except his back heel was on the baseline.
Open three-point look by Adrosu is good, and the Lightning needed that one, Dave.
They sure did, because they've gotten a few open looks now from beyond the arc, unable to hit with the exception of that one. Now they're 2 of 10 from downtown.
So Mick with the basketball as he brings the ball across the midcourt line as we wind down to 2 minutes remaining here in this first half. Cartalis with the open three-pointer. That's no good. Batista there to grab the rebound, and here come the Lightning looking to run. Batista kicking it in the corner to Tommy, and his three-pointer is good. Back-to-back three-pointers by the Lightning and made it a 2-point game.
Man, what great court presence by John Batista to find a Batista in the corner. I didn't even realize he was there, Tommy, but what a great look by John Batista.
Latunji with the tough fadeaway. That's no good. It'll be knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Lightning. By the Dolphins, I should say. So it will be Lightning basketball inside of 90 seconds remaining here in the first half. The Dolphins, who just led by 8, have seen their lead cut down to 2. Feed inside to Scott. They work the ball around to the three-point line. Now Batista. Tough fadeaway is good.
Yeah, this is all with Geathers on the bench, Mike, who averages, like Batista, just under 18 points a game. And that means that number 15, John Batista, has to do most of the scoring work, and he's risen up to that occasion.
Quick 8-0 run by the Lightning have tied this game up as Cartalis' three-pointer is no good. And now the Lightning looking to go back in the lead as Batista's shot is blocked away beautifully by the Dolphins, knocked out of bounds, but it will remain Lightning basketball.
Yeah, again, the Dolphins make a nice play defensively the other way, just unable to keep that ball in bounds for another opportunity, and it'll bring Velasquez into the game, replacing Mick.
So Mick will go to the bench. Velasquez will check back in, and the Lightning will inbound with 48 seconds remaining here in this first half. Batista with the basketball. Dolphins in the zone. A long three-pointer is good as Adrosu hits his second three-pointer in a row, and the Lightning come back with an 11-0 run of their own to take a three-point lead.
Yeah, and the Dolphins, spending resources on the inside. Lehman knows they're going to have some open looks from the outside. You got to hit them when they're open, and they have.
Latunji feeding the ball out to Ziris. Fight for possession, and we're going to have a whistle. And Ziris is going to get called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, it looked like he was held up getting to that ball. At least that's what he's pleading, and he won't get the call his way. And now with the shot clock off, Mike, Lehman with a chance to go into the locker room with a multi-possession lead and a back-and-forth affair. Mike, this game was like 11-10, like 9 minutes in the game. Seemed like, really like a defensive, attrition of a game, and instead it's kind of opened up a great deal here in the second half, and the second half of the first half.
Yeah,
a lot more scoring.
Yeah, Dolphins shooting just under 50% now. The Lightning with 12 more shots than the Dolphins, shooting just 41%, but they have a three-point lead, and let's see what the Lightning could do here in this final 13 seconds. Batista looking to work against Cartalis now. 7 seconds remaining. Batista looking to work its way inside. Got a lot of steps in, and his floater is up and in, and that's it. We're going to go into halftime as the Lightning will close the first half on a big run, scoring the last 13 points, and they lead at halftime by a score of 39-34 as head coach T.J. Tibbs nice enough to join us at halftime in Coach, the Dolphins had an 8-point lead. The Lightning closed the first half on a 13-0 run.
Yeah, Lehman did a good job of just making a run at the end. I mean, a lot of sloppy play by us, but got to give Lehman credit for what that is. Hit a couple shots down the end. I don't think they missed in the last 5 or 6 possessions. So we got to do a better job of withstanding runs and just getting stops.
You know, Coach, the team getting out rebounded 21-16 in that first half. What do you look to do to combat that in half number 2?
Just be a little bit tougher. You know, continue to fight on the boards, continue to do the things that we have to do. You know, this is not a team that is outsizing us. They're just out-toughing us. And that's a Steve Shulman coach team. They do a great job of playing hard. We've had a lot of battles with these guys. So go in the locker room and figure that out for the second half.
Coach, thanks for coming over and joining us. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's head men's basketball coach T.J. Tibbs, nice enough to come over and join us. And, you know, boy, Dave, what a difference a couple of minutes make. The Dolphins were cruising along. They had themselves a 34-26 lead. They were clicking on all cylinders, but the Lightning able to close out on a 13-0 run.
Well, I think what both teams proved in the first half, Mike, is that both teams are pretty hard to shake. You know, and we've had a lot of lead changes. There were 6 lead changes in all, 4 ties. You know, I think both teams hit their stride at different marks in the game, but Lehman's ability to really rebound the basketball well, especially on the offensive glass, led to a lot more opportunities. Dolphins are going to have to combat that. Your question was a good one, and, you know, Tibbs' team has to find an answer.
So we're at halftime. The Dolphins trailing by a score of 39-34. We're going to step aside, take a break, and we'll be back in a few minutes to get you halftime statistics and get you ready for the start of the second half as the Dolphins trail by a score of 39-34. You're watching men's basketball coverage exclusively on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sports at CSIDolphins.com.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
Hi, Meals on Wheels.
I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels.
I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back here at halftime, and it's really been kind of a game of runs here as the Lightning jump out to a 24-17 lead. The Dolphins are able to turn that around and take a 34-26 lead before the Lightning close out on a 13-0 run, Dave, to go into halftime with a 39-34 lead.
Yeah, Dolphins had themselves a 34-26 lead with 2:22 remaining in the first half. And you know the story from there. The final 2.5 minutes belonged to Lehman. They go on their 13-0 run, like Mike just mentioned. And just like that, they have a 5-point lead heading into the locker room. And, Mike, the Dolphins didn't spend a lot of time in the locker room either. Coach Tibbs was with you talking for a minute or so, went into the locker room. The CSI team was out about 2 minutes later, and the coaching staff is still in the locker room as we see our halftime statistics posted on our screen.
Yeah, and looking at those halftime statistics, the Dolphins shooting 48% from the field, but have taken 13 less shots, and the Lightning 33%, Dave, from the three-point line, but they were 1 of 9 before hitting their last 3 going into the half.
Yeah, and the Dolphins, with their 2-3 zone, lending resources on the inside because Lehman was really having their way with them on the inside. That leaves outside players open. We talked about how CSI has to start making their open looks from the outside. Well, Lehman needed to do that as well, and you could see how those last 3-pointers affected the score the way it is now. And, Mike, the other big stat on your screen is those rebound totals. Lehman's a +5. It's not the end of the world. But on the offensive glass, they hold an 8-1 advantage. And, Mike, second chance points tonight. Lehman with 8, Staten Island with 0. So that's going to be a big factor to look at in the second half. That's something that the coaching staff is talking about right now and how to overturn a statistic like that one.
Yeah, Dave, the Dolphins also coming into the game tonight averaging just over 17 turnovers a game, 12 turnovers in that first half.
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking to Kelsey Carey, the women's basketball coach, and she was talking to us about how turnovers have plagued her team when we covered it on the podcast. And, she said that's not a statistic that you can change, game to game drastically. But when you have 17, you want to cut that to 16 the next game, or 15 or 14. And then the next game from there, 11 or 12. But the Dolphins have been really helter-skelter, Mike, with the way they've protected the basketball. Some of it is just hard luck, and some other times it's about, one pass too many, or passing on an open look to throw one inside in a double team. And that's where the Dolphins have really gotten caught in this game as well. So they have to be better at protecting the basketball, and sometimes it's not just about protecting it, it's about knowing what to do when the ball's in your hand when it comes in. And I think that's what the Dolphins will try and key in on. They've had a lot of success in this first half, Mike. When you shoot 48%, that's a good sign. So there's a lot of things that the Dolphins have done well in this half. They're down by 5. It's still anybody's game. 20 minutes, anything can happen. But the Dolphins do have to clean up some of their miscues.
Dave, you go back to December 27th, and, the Dolphins played so well in that opening game in the Tournament of Heroes against Curry College, able to defeat a real quality team by a final of 103-98. But the team has really struggled since then, Dave, dropping 4 out of their last 5.
It's an excellent point, Mike, because we covered that game, that opening game, and the Dolphins did play really well. And I thought the best thing that they did in that game, Mike, was that they picked themselves up off the mat a couple of times and came back to win that game. It was a close game, came right down to the wire, very resilient performance. And then the next day, Mike, they kind of just fell apart. In every facet of the game, they were just not in that game. They shot poorly. They didn't protect the basketball. They got in foul trouble. Everything that you could say. And since then, it's been kind of an exercising trying to find themselves again. And what are we about? How are we going to play? Now, Dolphins have been bitten with a couple of injuries, the Cartalis injury, now Rigo out of the lineup. And when you're a team that doesn't have a lot of bodies to begin with, that stuff really hurts. But the Dolphins really have just been trying to find their way. And you could see exactly, Mike, how frustrated the CSI Dolphins coaching staff is. Listening to TJ, with you, seemed like grasping for answers, not really, frustrated, visibly frustrated. And, you feel for the coaching staff, but at the same time, there's half a season left, and there's a lot, maybe 40% of the season left, and the Dolphins need to start figuring things out on how to move forward.
Yeah, and Dave, we're really used to seeing this Dolphin team really be a high-flying offensive team that could really defend the basketball as well. And, since in their last 5 games, 67 has been their high watermark in terms of points scored.
Yeah, and, almost 10 minutes into this first half, they had 11, and thankfully they picked it up a little bit. Their shooting has helped, but, you still, if you double what they did in the first half, they're still only on pace for about 70 points. And, the Dolphins, players like Austin Mick have really stepped up, Mike, with Latunji now sitting with 10 points for, since kind of like the 12 or 13-minute mark in that first half. But, Andrew Cartalis, 1 of 4 from the field. They got to get some more production out of him. James Delahanty played 11 minutes, only scored the 1 basket, only took the 1 shot. Velasquez been on the floor for 9 minutes, still hasn't shot the ball, Mike. He's been to the line twice. So, Dolphins just need to start, opening up their offense a little bit and be a little bit more unpredictable with the ball in their hands. Put some shots up and really start producing a little bit more other than Adeola Latunji.
Yeah, and, head coach Steve Schulman able to play 10 players in that first half for the Lightning, and, the Dolphins playing just 7. And you mentioned before, Dave, that Dolphins really playing, a short number of players. We rarely see more than 7 or 8 players get into the game for the Dolphins.
Yeah, we don't. And the bottom line is until the Dolphins start to really find, their rhythm with their starting unit, their top 6 or 7, it's hard to kind of go deeper than that unless things are just really hitting the rails. So, the Dolphins, again, we knew that they were thin coming into the season. They were, not going to carry a lot of players on their roster. Obviously, when you look at guys like Christian Taylor and Shamal Martin in street clothes, redshirting for the year, that puts a damper on things. But, next man up. It's an opportunity for somebody else to step up. And going forward, who's going to be the flag bearers of this team? Because we know Adeola Latunji is a senior. So who else is going to really step up and take on dominant roles? The answer to those questions are in the second half of this game and in the 10 games that follow from here on out.
And, Dave, we always like to look at freshman players regardless of what team they are on. And Ocean Scott looked like a pretty good freshman for the Lightning in that first half.
Well, yeah, you think to yourself, well, Isaiah Gathers has a couple of fouls. He's coming out of the game. We're in business. Things are going well for the Dolphins. And then in comes this kid, Ocean Scott, from really out of nowhere. And he makes 4 out of his first 4 baskets. He missed his last 2. 10 points, all coming off the bench, 9 minutes of action. He's picked up a couple of rebounds, too. So now he has picked up a couple fouls as well, and Lehman has to be conscious of that. But nice production out of Ocean Scott. And, Mike, the bench points in this game, 18-2 in favor of Lehman. It's thanks to kids like Scott.
Yeah, and, you look at the turnovers, the Dolphins have 12, Lightning have 7, but it was pretty tight early in the first quarter. Both teams had 4, 5, 6 early on. The Lightning have stopped turning the ball over, and the Dolphins continue to struggle a little with the turnovers.
And yet, all that said, Mike, they're down by 5, fresh 20 minutes on the clock. Anything can happen, and we should be in for a good one here.
So here we go. We're underway here in half number 2 as Cartalis with the basketball. The Dolphins' first possession. They go with the same starting 5. Delahanty out on the floor as Cartalis misses the jumper, and the Lightning grab the rebound. Batista with the basketball, works it over to Gaithers, who's back on the floor now with 3 fouls. He feeds it up over to Hansen. Hansen back to Batista. Nice job by Mick to strip the ball away as he looks to break the ball down. He feeds it over to Latunji, and he lays it up and in. Nice patience that time by Austin Mick.
Yeah, Mick's having himself a really good game and strong defensively as well. That was his second steal. And, one of the aspects to Rigo Desteam's game, Mike, is how good of a defender he is. But Austin's really taken over that role tonight as well. He's done a great job.
Tough shot that time by Hansen, and the Dolphins grab the rebound and look to cut into this 3-point Lightning lead. Mick with the basketball. Mick stutter steps at the 3-point line. A beautiful feed inside to Cartalis. He can't hit the layup, and Batista there to grab the rebound. Now Tommy Batista, tough reverse layup. That's up no good. Fight for the rebound, and we're going to have a whistle on the play. It'll be a jump ball possession, and the possession arrow will go to the Lightning.
Yeah, and that last exchange in the Dolphins' basket by Latunji, that broke a 13-0 run for Lehman.
Batista, over to Batista. That shot's no good, but Hansen there to grab the rebound and lay it up and in. And the Lightning have been more and more dominant on the glass, Dave, as the game has gone along.
Yeah, now that's 9-1, the offensive rebounds, and that time it was just a nice give inside as well. And that's where I think Lehman's been the way better team, Mike, in tonight's game, is just their ability to hit on their shots down low and to get a lot of looks from down low.
So it's going to be the Dolphins with the basketball now as Batista picks up his first team foul of the second half. Delahanty in the corner to Mick. His open three-pointer is no good. Hansen there to grab the rebound, and the Lightning looking to run as Batista feeding it over to Batista, who lays it up and in. And that time Dolphins couldn't get all the way back. Lightning made it pay, and they've opened their lead to 7.
Yeah, it's just transition game. No half-court offense really for Lehman is when they've had their success. Here's another opportunity.
Yeah, another turnover as Batista takes it down the lane. He scored the last 4. The Lightning have opened the lead to 9, and the head coach, T.J. Tibbs, has had enough, and he's going to take a timeout. So let's step aside and take a break. 17 minutes, 41 seconds remaining here in the second half. The Lightning have their biggest lead of the game. It's 9 as they lead by a score of 45-36. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back. The Dolphins find themselves getting outscored 6-2 here in this second half, shooting just 1 of 4 from the field, Dave, and they find themselves down by 9.
Yeah, and they scored the first points of this half, Mike, and since then 6-0 Lehman run.
As the Lightning looking to press in the backcourt, and a nice job by Mick to keep that ball in bounds as he's able to bring the ball across the midcourt line and set up the Dolphin offense now with 18 on the shot clock. Latunji with the basketball. He leads the Dolphins in scoring with 12. Now Ziris pulls up his jumper from the free throw line extended is good.
Yeah, and it's a wide open jumper for Ziris that you absolutely have to make there from the elbow, and he delivered. Nice play that time by Joe to get the Dolphins back in it.
Hansen has the ball stolen away by Cartalis, so the Lightning commit their 8th turnover of the game, or not. Yes, their 8th turnover, and now it's Mick with the basketball as the Dolphins try to cut into this 7-point Lightning lead. Latunji with the basketball, now up over to Cartalis. He kicks the ball out in the corner to Mick. His open three-pointer is good. Austin continues his strong play, 5 of 7 from the field, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. He's got 14.
Yeah, nice job by Cartalis to find him, too. Cartalis, a tough game from the field shooting-wise, but a nice heads-up play to find Mick there wide open for 3.
Batista with the basketball, picks up the dribble, now feeds it up over to Hansen. Hansen heads it off to Gaithers, and his fadeaway in the lane is good.
Yeah, very quiet first half for Gaithers. Obviously, only the 6 points. He had 4 at the half, but we mentioned the 3 fouls, and gets right back to work here in the second.
47-41, the Lightning with a 6-point lead as it's Latunji now feeding it up over to Cartalis. Cartalis cut off along the baseline. Now it's Ziris trying to fight his way inside. That shot is up, no good. Hansen grabs the rebound and feeds it ahead, and a nice play by Cartalis to get back against Idrusu, but he's going to pick up the foul.
Yep, and that time the Dolphins wanted to break up the fast break opportunity that way, as we'll have a media timeout. Mike, why don't we keep it here just to discuss the CSI women scoring a big win. Obviously, it was a game where on paper they were the heavily favored team, but it's nice to see the Dolphins inching their way back towards 500 after an 0-6 start.
Yeah, you know, they really did a nice job in this game. They really led wire to wire, Dave. The Lightning did score the first basket of the game to take a 2-0 lead, but then Kayla Schmitter put up a 3-point play, and I think the Dolphins went on like a 19-2 run and really went out of control early. So a nice game for the CSI women's team. And you're right, Dave, they're hot, I believe, 5 out of their last 6.
Yeah, and 7 out of their last 9, I believe, to get to 7-8 after an 0-6 start. So congratulations to Nicole Sarcone's team. They'll be back in action on Friday against the Cabrini College team. CSI basketball's last game against a non-conference opponent, could speak volumes for the home stretch the rest of the way.
Yeah, you know, Dave, it's interesting. This CSI men's basketball team that's had so much success in the regular season. I can't remember the last time they lost 4 games within the conference. They've already dropped 4 within the conference and find themselves down 6 here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something to keep our eye on. Mike, while we have a little bit of a pause, I want to say hello to my wife at home, Jennifer Pizzuto, who's watching us like she always does. And I also want to send a shout out to my kids. Even though they're not listening, they'll get a kick out of it on the replay. It's their 12th birthday today. So happy birthday, Sabrina and Lily.
That's hard to believe, Dave. 12 years old. Oh, boy, is we have a fella on the floor.
Ziris and Gaithers got tangled up going down hard, and not a good sign here for the Dolphins. You see it on the top of your screen. Ziris is going to get up under his own power. That's a great sign for the Dolphins.
Boy, they really need that, Dave. You know, Joe is really like their only strong, consistent inside presence, and they could ill afford to lose him.
Yeah, really dynamic kind of inside-out player, Mike. And, you know, for all he does offensively, defensively, he's just been really strong back there as well.
Yeah, and he got called for the foul on that play, and then the Dolphins commit a foul off the inbound. So 2 team fouls on the Dolphins in the last couple of seconds as Austin Mick picks up his third team foul, and that's going to send Isaiah Gaithers to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, it wasn't till I think the 8 or 9 minute mark till the Dolphins picked up their third foul. And they were sitting at like 3 for a long time in the first half. They're already up to 3 here in the first 4:17 of the second half.
So the Lightning now just 3 of 7 from the line in this game. One more free throw upcoming. And Isaiah misses the pass, so just 3 of 8 from the line for Lehman College. And that helps the Dolphins stay within 6. Mick with the basketball, bringing the ball up across the midcourt line, guarded there by Batista. Mick with a little bit of room, kicking it in the corner to Cartalis. His open three-pointer is no good as Cartalis continues to struggle from the field. And once again, the Lightning able to get ahead of the Dolphins defensively and lay it up and in to open their lead back up to 8.
Yeah, tough break for Cartalis because he's 0 for 5 from downtown, Mike. And, 4 of those looks have been pretty open looks for Andrew. And we know him to be a really good shooter from beyond the arc. He's just not falling tonight.
Zira's trying to work his way inside against the double team. His shot's no good, and here come the Lightning as it's Batista putting up the three-pointer. That's no good, and now we're going to have a loose ball foul on the Dolphins.
It's interesting, Mike. At halftime, I was thinking in my head, what's nice about a game like this is the officials have let a lot go underneath. There's been a lot of jostling down there, scrambling on rebounds, a lot of pushing and shoving, and all good, clean stuff, but a lot of that's been letting go, and we haven't seen that here in the first 5 minutes of half number 2.
Yeah, Dolphins already with 4 team fouls here in this second half as it's Feldman with the basketball now, looking to work against Cartalis. Feldman now kicking the ball up over to Adrosu, and now it's going to be Batista with 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Batista working against Velasquez, and Velasquez will pick up the foul. So Dolphins continue to accumulate fouls. That one a little bit of a forearm shiver called against Velasquez.
Yeah, Velasquez was just a little late after that shimmy there by Batista to go over to his left side. Velasquez was a little late getting back to him. And Lehman will have a full 20 seconds to work with here.
So the Lightning will look to inbound the basketball now as it's Batista working it up over to Feldman, and now the long three-pointer, that time put up by Nunez, is up, no good. Fight for the rebound, and Lightning able to come away with the basketball, Dave, once again.
Offensive rebounds are now 13-1, I believe.
31-18, Dave. The rebounding total is the Lightning really starting to put pressure on the Dolphins on the glass, and now it's a 10-point Lightning lead, 51-41, as the Dolphins will get to inbound the basketball once again.
Second chance points, 12-0 in favor of Lehman in tonight's match, and they're up by 10 in the game, so you can draw your own conclusions as to how this game's being won so far by Lehman.
The Lightning on a 25-7 run since the Dolphins had that 8-point lead. Velasquez working it over to Cartalis. Cartalis working his way inside, laying it up and in, and that's what you got to do, Dave. If you're Cartalis, you got to keep shooting.
Yeah, and you got to stay confident. That's tough for a sophomore to do sometimes when you're 0 for 5 from downtown, 1 for 6 from the field, but Cartalis has stayed with it, gets a big basket for the Dolphins.
Batista now with the basketball looking to work against Velasquez, and now we're going to have a whistle and a traveling violation on the Lightning. So Lehman's going to commit their 10th turnover of the night, and it will be Dolphin basketball looking to work their way back from a 10-point deficit.
Yeah, and that got a big eye roll from Geathers, who did not like that call as he made a strong move to the inside.
Velasquez's pass nearly stolen away, but last touch by the Lightning. So it will be Dolphin basketball now with 18 seconds on the clock. Lightning 6 of 12 from the field in the second half. Dolphins 4 of 10. And the Dolphins find themselves down by 8 as that time Latunji puts up the three-pointer that's way off. And the Dolphins able to come away with the ball off the turnover as they forced a couple of turnovers. But now it's going to be Cartalis standing on the end line as head coach T.J. Tibbs not liking that call, felt that Cartalis got his feet back in bounds before catching the basketball, reestablishing position. But
see if we can get another look at it, Mike, maybe even in slow-mo. I mean, you got to – I think what T.J.'s arguing is that he never truly had possession of the basketball, and I don't know.
So it's going to be the Lightning now with the basketball and an 8-point lead. Teams exchange turnovers. Gathers now working the ball up over to Atkinson. Atkinson, a behind-the-back dribble, now feeds the ball inside and able to lay it up and in is Basharu Kamara, the 6'5" sophomore. And once again, the Lightning find themselves up by 10, 53-43 with 12 minutes and 47 seconds remaining. It's going to be a 30-second timeout that I believe will convert to a media timeout. So why don't we step aside, take a break. 12 minutes and 47 seconds remaining here in the second half. Lightning 53, Dolphins 43. You're watching men's basketball coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
So the Dolphins inbound the basketball and get it over the midcourt line, and then Atkinson picks up the foul on Austin Mick, well out beyond the basket, so he picks up his first, the Lightning second team foul, and the Dolphins now in possession of the basketball. Mick taking the ball inside and a beautiful reverse layup that time, and he's really shown so much more offensively, Dave, for the Dolphins this year, Austin Mick.
Yeah, and what we failed to mention, Mike, is that on that last break into the game came Brian Gomez and Abdul Rasak Aishola, replacing Latunji and Cartalis. Now, Latunji's getting set to come back into the game for the Dolphins.
As that's Feldman putting up that long three-pointer. That's up no good, and Delahanty there to grab the rebound as the Dolphins look to make a run once again. So a couple of interesting second-half substitutions for the Dolphins, as now it's Mick with the basketball. He nearly loses his feet and now gets the ball out over to Gomez. Now back up over to Mick. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Gomez, a nice move inside, but that shot's going to be blocked away by Kamara. And now the Lightning come away with the basketball and an 8-point lead. Atkinson now up over to Adrosu. Gathers. Nice move that time by Adrosu, who's able to lay it up and in, and he was able to get right past Delahanty and get into the heart of that Dolphin defense.
Yeah,
Dave.
if you're a fan of the Lightning, that's a highlight reel material shot right there. That was blew right by Delahanty and then was fronted by Rasaka Shola and was able to still get it to go.
So Mo now has 12 points for the Lightning. Is serious, strong move inside, lays it up and in, and he's got a lot of moves on the inside, Dave.
Man, that was really pretty.
Tough fadeaway shot that time by Atkinson is up no good. The Dolphins control the rebound, down by 8. They've gotten it to 8 a couple of times in the last few minutes. Let's see if they can get a little closer on this possession. Ball knocked out of bounds. It will remain Dolphin basketball as we have an opportunity to see that nice strong move on the inside by Ziris.
We'll have a timeout here, Mike.
So we're going to have a whistle and a timeout on the floor. 10 minutes and 28 seconds. A lot of fits and starts here, Dave, to the second half.
Definitely, but the Dolphins are still within reach. They're still within distance. They're a short run away from making this a one possession game. And they do still have possession of the basketball when we come back after this timeout. So, the Dolphins went into halftime, Mike, down by 5. They find themselves down by 8. And after, still shooting below the 45% mark. Lehman has really improved their shooting in the second half, Mike. They're now 8 of 16 in total. So it's just a question of, can the Dolphins, tame this Lehman fast break enough and keep them off the glass enough to crawl themselves back into this, and they can.
And Dave, the Dolphins were getting out rebounded 21-16 in that first half, including 8-1 on the offensive end. Those numbers are now 34-20.
Yeah, and that's where Lehman has just been really strong. They obviously have the win when it comes to height and size underneath. And, they've been in the right place at the right time as well. But their ability, Mike, on the offensive glass, 13-1, like you mentioned, and the second chance points are still at 12-0 in favor of the Lightning. And, you look up at the scoreboard, the Dolphins are a -8 on the scoreboard, a -12 in second chance points, and you kind of know where Lehman is getting that difference in this game.
And, Dave, just 2 points off the bench for the Dolphins here in this game tonight.
Yep. And Velasquez and Kopech were one of the only ones to come into the game, both on the bench now.
Mick working the ball in the corner to Gomez. That shot is up, no good. Batista with the rebound, and that time Gaithers and Gomez kind of got tangled up. Their feet got tangled up, so the ball sails out of bounds. So it ends up being a turnover on the Lightning, as head coach Steve Schulman not crazy about that non-call. But to me, Dave, it kind of looked like incidental contact.
It happens. I mean, both players are racing down at 100 miles an hour and top speed, and your feet get tangled up. It's really nobody's fault.
So we reached the midway point of this second half. Dolphins down by 8. Delahanty kicking the ball in the corner to Mick. His long three-pointer is up, no good. Adrusu there to grab the rebound and hand the ball up over to Batista. Now Feldman with the basketball, looking to work against Cartalis. Feldman working his way inside. His shot is up, no good. And Ziris there to grab the rebound. Feldman had a clear path to the lane. I think he had a little more room than he thought he was going to have, Dave.
Yeah, but even still, Mike, this is the Dolphins' 4th trip down the floor in a row with a chance to reduce an 8-point deficit. Dolphins have been 0 for their first 3. Let's see what happens now.
Delahanty wide open on the inside, able to lay it up and in. Second basket of the game for James, and the Dolphins, Dave, now cut the lead down to 6.
Yeah, and they needed to take advantage. Lehman leaving that door a little bit open for the Dolphins. Dolphins yet to pull through.
Let's see what the Dolphins could do on the defensive end now, as that's Kamara. Kamara with a floater in the lane, and that's good. And Kamara, just a sophomore, another nice-looking young player for the Lightning, Dave.
Yeah, as we have a quick timeout. Delay of game warning on Gathers for the Lightning after that made basket, I guess, once the ball went in. He grabbed the ball, and unless they were warned before, Mike, because it's going to end up as a technical foul.
They must have been, Dave.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it. But they must have had a delay of game warning if they're going to get a opportunity for a free throw here, as Austin Mick will take the free throw, and he misses it. So Austin misses that free throw, and the Dolphins will inbound the basketball. They have themselves in position here, Dave, with just under 9 minutes remaining in this second half, and they find themselves down by 8.
And I don't know if the Dolphins can elect who shoots that free throw, but Mick is a 47% free throw shooter. So I was kind of questionable, Mike.
Yeah, so Mick now gets it up over to Latunji. Latunji working the ball back up over to Cartalis, whose three-pointer is good. He's started out, Dave, hitting one of his first 7. He's hit his last 2.
Yeah, a lot of good confidence there by Andrew Cartalis.
Dolphins now cut the lead down to 5, and they get the turnover. So an opportunity to further cut in to this Lehman lead, and it's been a game of runs all night long, Dave.
Yeah, and the Dolphins could sure use one in their favor here. They've got the start of one. Let's see if they can finish.
Cartalis feeding it up over to Delahanty, who's going to get called for the travel.
Yeah, Dolphins respond with a turnover. You get another look at that three-point basket.
Yeah, so Cartalis burying that three-pointer for the Dolphins, but Dolphins turning the ball over on their next possession, their 15th turnover of the game.
Yeah, they're a -2 in that department as Lehman has turned it over 13 times.
So now it's Batista with the basketball. Lightning by 5. A beautiful feed inside, and that's Ocean Scott once again, Dave.
Yeah, and that was a nice feed that time from Alex Hansen as well.
So Scott with the basket to open the lead back up to 7, and now it's Latunji, who kind of took the ball on his shoulder, was traveling across the lane, and he's going to be able to draw the foul.
Yeah, you can see Adiola and Delahanty getting into a little bit of exchange after that.
So it's going to be a media timeout with 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in this second half. Why don't we step aside, take a break. Lightning lead by a score of 59-52. You're watching men's basketball coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back with 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this game. And Dave, the Dolphins have been out-rebounded 15-5 here in the second half, but have hung in there, just getting outscored 20-18, down by 7 with the basketball.
Yeah, I think the key has been that Lehman has left the door open on a number of occasions. The Dolphins really need to pounce on this opportunity.
Cortalis with the basketball. Feeds it over to Delahanty. Nice extra interior pass to Ziris. He lays it up and in. Ziris now in double figures with 11.
Yeah, big inside presence is Ziris, offensively and defensively. Dolphins needed a big shot. They got one.
Scott with the basketball. Scott, now they work the ball in the corner of Drosu, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul on the Dolphins.
Yeah, he got a little bit of the wrist there that time, did Cortalis. And the Dolphins are now over the foul limit, I believe. Actually, I'm sorry, that's their 6th.
Yeah, so for Andrew, his second, like Dave said, 16 foul. So now it's Batista with the basketball. As Scott moved toward the basket, the pass went back. Big turnover there by the Lightning, and opens the door a little bit wider for the Dolphins.
And a shout out to Samantha Flecker across the way, Mike, from preventing that ball from hitting our equipment down by the scorer's table. We teach our workers that the equipment's more valuable than human lives sometimes, and she put herself out there. Great job, Sam.
Good job by Sam. Cortalis with the basketball. Now it's Mick out by the three-point line. Now it's Ziris. No hesitation. Three-pointer is good, and the Dolphins have cut the lead all the way down to 2.
And Ocean Scott right in his face as well, face guarding him with his palms up, and Ziris, cool as a cucumber, just put that one right in.
Dolphins now on a 12-4 run to make it a 2-point game, and now another turnover for the Lightning as the Dolphins turn up the defensive intensity. Turnovers now 15 apiece, Dave.
And the Lightning sense it. They get Geathers back into the game, and they call a quick timeout, a 30-second timeout to discuss things as head coach Steve Shulman doesn't want this to get out of hand.
You know, Dave, one thing that we've seen out of this Dolphin team all year long is that they've had the ability to keep playing. You know, even they struggled at times in this game. They've been struggling coming into the game. They had a tough game against Brooklyn College in the last home game, but the team does keep playing.
Well, you know what, Mike, when you're 5-10 and you're making a transition from Division III to Division II, you don't have a postseason to look forward to. You know, when you get into a bad rut, it's easy to kind of climb into your shell and not come out or give up or, you know, hang your head low, keep your shoulders low. But this Dolphins team they're a microcosm of their coach T.J. Tibbs, who as a player never really backed down, and as a coach doesn't either, and he wants his kids to play hard, to play tough, and to play proud here in their own building, and that's what they're doing.
So it's Mick with the basketball. The Dolphins down by 2 with an opportunity to tie or regain the lead. Cartalis, bounce pass inside to Ziris. Over to Cartalis. The open three-pointer is off, but Latunji there to grab a big offensive rebound and lay it up and in. And Dave, the Dolphins haven't got many of them, but they used that one to tie the game up.
I was going to say that was only their second offensive rebound of the entire game. And, Mike, their first one they got before I even came onto the broadcast, so it must have been in the first 4 minutes of the game.
59-59. The Dolphins able to come back from a 10-point deficit here in the second half. That long shot by Gaithers is up, no good. Big rebound there for Austin Mick as he grabs his 4th rebound of the game.
Yeah, and Lehman getting, colder from the floor. They're still shooting 50% in the second half, but now 10 of 20, and they've missed their only 4 shots from downtown.
Mick with the basketball now as we're inside of 5 minutes, 30 seconds remaining here in the second half. Mick putting up the three-pointer. That's off the rim. No good, but another offensive rebound by Ziris, who lays it up and in. 2 offensive rebounds in a row, Dave, and the Dolphins regain the lead.
Yeah, and very quietly, Joe Ziris now 18 points on 7 of 13 shooting, and now a team high, 8 rebounds, and that one off the offensive glass.
Dolphins are in the middle of a 16-4 run, but now we're going to have another foul called on Cartalis, and now the Dolphins are over the limit, Dave.
Yeah, 16-4 run, Mike, but 9-0 over the last 2.5 minutes of play. And that's been the difference here, as stopping the bleeding finally is John Batista.
So Batista hits the first free throw. The Lightning now just 4 of 9 from the free throw line here today. And the Lightning have cut the Dolphin lead now down to 1 as Batista ties it up as he hits the pair of free throws.
And now a double-double for Batista as he has 10 points to match his 10 rebounds.
61-61 the score, 5 minutes remaining. Mick with the basketball, the Lightning trying to double-team the ball. Ziris looking to feed it inside to Delahanty, but the pass just a half second late. The Lightning able to knock it out of bounds, but it'll remain Dolphin basketball with 15 on the shot clock.
And nice job by Tommy Batista to make up some incredible ground and get into the middle there and break up that almost easy basket for the Dolphins.
Mick with the basketball, feeds the ball out over to Ziris. Ziris now over to Cartalis. Now it's Mick out by the three-point line as the Dolphins look to set up offensively now with just 5 on the shot clock. Cartalis puts up the three-pointer off the back rim, no good. Gaithers goes up high to grab the rebound for the Lightning.
So here we go, Mike, 0-0 game with 4.5 minutes to go. Better team from here on out wins the game.
Batista behind the back dribble. Jumper is up, no good. Hansen goes up high for the rebound, and his putback is up and in. And that time the Lightning able to use the offensive rebound and those second chance points to regain a 2-point lead.
Yeah, and if I'm Lehman, I'm not even thinking at all about, hitting an outside shot here. You've had so much success on the inside, so much success on the offensive glass. You've got to live there from here on out.
Latunji, jumper in the lane is good. He's been quiet a lot of the night, Dave, but a couple of baskets now for Adiola. He has 16.
He's only taken 12 shots. He's made 7 of them, and when the game is on the line, you're going to see a lot more of Adiola for CSI.
63-63 the score. Batista, the long three-pointer is good. And Tommy Batista, Dave, he's been quiet all night, gets a big three-pointer. He now has 6, and the Lightning have a 3-point lead.
Yeah, well, he made a fool out of me, didn't he, Mike? I mean, as soon as I say that Lehman shouldn't take another outside shot, he just winds up right from the top of the arc. A high arcing 3-point shot. Hits nothing but twine, and the Lightning are back up by 3 points. So nice job by Tommy Batista, who made a great defensive play and now follows it up with a big three-pointer.
Yeah, he came into the game shooting 31% from the three-point line, but, he took that shot with confidence and was able to bury it. And, the Dolphins were able to nudge themselves in front of this game by a score of 61-59. Since then, it's been the Lightning on a 7-2 run, Dave.
Yeah, and that's, you said it at halftime, Mike. It's been a game of runs, and it continues to be that game of runs. Now a quick timeout. I'm not sure who called that timeout. It was Lehman. So Lehman wanting to maximize This offensive surge now has to tighten up defensively. And for Lehman, Mike, that was their first three-pointer of the evening here in the second half.
Yeah, Dave, and looking at the rebounding totals, the Dolphins out-rebounded 38-24, including 14-3 on the offensive glass, yet find themselves within one possession in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And second chance points are still in one side of Lehman's favor, but the Dolphins finally got their first second chance point of the night just over a minute ago, and they're down in that category 14-4. Fouls are going to be interesting from here on out too, Mike, because Lehman only has 3 personal fouls, so they have 3 fouls to give before putting CSI in the bonus.
So the Lightning showed a little bit of a press, but now they back up to half court as Austin Mick brings the ball across the big court line. Big possession here for the Dolphins. Cartalis with the basketball. Now Ziris. He's played strong second half. Delahanty out at the top of the key, looking for somewhere to go with the basketball. Now feeds it over to Mick. Good defense by the Lightning. 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Latunji, a tough move. He tried to feed it inside. He's able to come away with the basketball. The shot clock reset. I'm not sure, Dave, that should have been a reset, and the official actually signaling now a shot clock violation on the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think as soon as Latunji lost that, the shot clock reset in Lehman's favor, but they never really truly had possession. So Dolphins will give it up via the turnover, and now Lehman with a 1-possession lead can grow it here with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, the Dolphins have gone a long stretch here in the second half before that turnover. Let's see if the Lightning are able to take advantage of it. And now we're going to have a whistle and an offensive foul called on the Lightning as Tommy Batista, who hit that big three-pointer, gets called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, moving screen or moving pick, whatever you want to call it. That was the call. It's only Lehman's 4th foul of the second half. As we are under 3 minutes to go, the Dolphins last scored a field goal over 1 minute and 20 seconds ago.
So Mick now with the basketball. Over to Cartalis. Now it's Ziris in the corner. Now back to Cartalis. He works his way inside. The floater in the lane is up. No good. That was a good shot that time by Cartalis. He just couldn't get it to fall.
Yeah, he recognized the open space and just unlucky. Didn't get the friendly rim.
Batista now with the basketball. Big defensive possession here for the Dolphins. Gaithers looking to work inside against Ziris. Beautiful defensive play that time by Ziris. Second block of the game.
Yeah, even though he gives up a little bit of size together, he was able to stand up straight, get a fingertip on that, disrupt the shot.
Latunji with the big jumper. It's good. Adiola now 8 of 13 from the field. He has 18.
That's a big shot there. Puts the Dolphins down by 1. 2 minutes to go.
Batista now with the basketball. Dolphins a lot of hands. Now it's Tommy Batista. He whips it over to Gaithers, but it goes off his hands, out of bounds. And it will be Dolphin basketball down by 1. And Dolphins with a big opportunity here to regain the lead inside of 2 minutes to go.
Dolphins defensively doing what they did at the close of the first half, really lending a lot of resources inside, not giving anything up easy on the interior. Lehman should get themselves some open looks on the perimeter. We'll see if they take them.
10th turnover of the second half for the Lightning, and now
Yeah, so it looks like the Dolphins are not going to get to the line here. It'll be a new possession, but that's the 15th foul for Lehman and the 3rd against Mo Idrisu.
Yeah, and again, now the shot clock resets to 20, but the Dolphins with an opportunity here to regain the lead, down by 1, as Ziris gets the basketball now and feeds it up over to Mick. So Mick will set up the offense now with 13 to shoot. Cartalis at the three-point line. Cartalis looking to work his way inside, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul out on the floor. And Lehman, Dave, who had 3 team fouls about a minute ago, have picked up 3 additional team fouls. They're now up to 6 with 1:26 to go. Shot clock resets to 20 once again.
Yeah, it gives the Dolphins a fresh 20 to work with as well.
Delahanty with the basketball now, hands it off to Latunji. Now it's Ziris getting the ball up over to Mick. Let's see if the Dolphins can get the ball in Latunji's hands, Dave. Cartalis over to Ziris. Ziris missing the open layup.
Yeah, it was contested, Mike, but certainly that's a big miss that time. And now with a minute left to play, the Dolphins still down by 1.
Batista with the ball. Gaithers. Now it's Feldman as the Lightning look to wind shot clock down. Now Batista backs up inside at 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Inside to Gaithers. Gaithers shot blocked once again by Ziris, and he's going to draw the foul. And Ziris with 2 blocks, Dave, in the last minute of play against the bigger Gaithers. And that gives the Dolphins an opportunity to go to the free throw line and tie this game up or take the lead.
Yeah, 3 blocks for Ziris now on the night. Brings him up to 38 for the season. Second on that list is Adeola Latunji with 17. Just gives you an idea of how good Ziris has been. And now, stepping to the line, a chance to tie it on the first shot. And if he makes the first, an opportunity to hit the second to take the lead. As Ziris, a 58% free throw shooter. 2 huge ones here right now.
Big free throws coming up here for Ziris. And he hits the first. Big make there by Ziris to tie this game up at 66. And
maybe that's what it takes, Mike, the place being completely silent for Ziris to hit free throws. You can hear a pin drop here. He's 4 or 5 from the line.
One more upcoming now for Joe. His second free throw is up and in. 2 huge ones for Ziris. The Dolphins now with a 1-point lead and 40 seconds remaining in the game.
Plenty of time for both teams to operate here.
Batista spinning, working against Cartalis. That shot's an air ball, and Ziris grabs another rebound. There's less than a second differential on the shot clock and the game clock. The Lightning have to foul, and they do, with 23.3 seconds remaining in the game.
Well, Austin Mick wanted the ball in his hands. He got it. He got fouled. Mike, he's a 47% free throw shooter who's about to shoot a 1-and-1. Mick is 0 for 1 from the line tonight, and here is another huge opportunity for this young man.
As Mick's free throw is up and in. A big make, a couple of big 1-and-1s for the Dolphins. First, Ziris steps up and makes one. Now Austin makes one. Dolphins lead by 2, and he can make it a 3-point game if he could hit shot number 2.
And if he does, Lehman will have a empty shot clock to work with and potentially the final possession. Go ahead,
4
Mike.
big free throws by the Dolphins in the last minute. Let's see what happens. Batista looking to drive the ball inside. That shot is off the rim. No good. Rebound is gathered now by Hansen. 10 seconds remaining, and the Lightning will call a timeout. Interesting decision that time, Dave, by the Lightning, down by 3 to go for the 2-point shot. They were fortunate. Hansen able to grab a big offensive rebound. So 10.2 seconds remaining. Lightning with the ball.
Yeah, so the Lightning still will have an opportunity. We'll have to see who they put out on the floor because their best 3-point shooters, obviously, John Batista is already out there. Tommy Batista is already out there. And Mo Idrisu is probably going to get out there. I think he was out of the game, but he leads Lehman in 3-pointers this season. But, you know, Mike, I know a lot of people don't like doing this, but if you're CSI, do you think about potentially fouling here in this situation? You would force a 1-and-1 for Lehman. They need 3 just to tie with 10 seconds left. Free throws really don't do much for them. Do you at least think about it?
Yeah, I think you got to think about it, Dave. You know, especially depending on who gets the ball for the Lightning. But you're right, coaches hesitate to do that because they don't want to give up potentially 2 points and then have the ball inbounded underneath their own basket. So, you know, this is what head coaches get paid these kind of decisions to make. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Lightning do here as the 2 Batistas are out on the floor. Feldman is out on the floor. Hansen is out on the floor. And Gaithers will inbound for the Lightning with 10.2 seconds remaining in regulation.
And by everyone's count, Lehman is out of timeouts as well. So they don't have the ability to stop the clock.
Batista puts up the long 3-pointer. It's off the rim. No good. Batista able to grab the rebound with 5. That shot's blocked Velasquez comes away with the basketball, and that's going to do it. The College of Staten Island coming back from a 10-point deficit in the second half as they defeat Lehman by the final score of 69-66. Great comeback win for the Dolphins here tonight, Dave.
That's got to feel great for this team, Mike. We're going to be joined by Joe Ziris in a little bit, who had a monster game in his own right, 20 points, 9 rebounds. But, man, when the Dolphins needed to step up in this one, Mike, they looked dead in the water a couple of times. Lehman's largest lead, 55-45. It was 10 points. And you could see the final score. The Dolphins kept them at bay the final 11 minutes of this game to come out of here with a win. What a win for the Dolphins. Definitely one to grow on. And for Lehman, they leave a little bit dejected, having almost complete control of the game and then relenting at the end.
Yeah, Dave, and the Dolphins turning the ball over 12 times at halftime, just 4 turnovers in that second half as they're able to come out and pull off a victory coming from 10 points behind in the second half. As Joe Ziris nice enough to come over and join us. And Joe, the team down 10 points in that second half. Big comeback. What did you do in those final few minutes?
We're just resilient. We've been down a couple of games. We've been down versus York by a lot. We've been down versus Brooklyn a lot. So we're kind of used to it by now. But this time, we got the stops when we were down 6. We got the stops we needed, and then we were getting the ball in the basket. And we were making free throws. This is the hardest thing. Biggest challenge for the year so far has been making free throws. But at the end, we made 4. In the most crucial time.
Yeah, Joe, what did you think stepping up to the free throw line, down by a couple of points, and stepping up and burying 2 big free throws down the stretch?
It's just practice. We've been practicing so hard for just free throw shooting the last couple of practices. So it's just nothing new. Just get same routine, same everything. Just nothing new for us. We've been doing it. We've been doing pressure free throw shooting. You got to make free throws at the end of the game. It's the most important part.
Joe, it was a very short halftime speech for you guys in the locker room. You guys went into the locker room, came right back out almost. What was said during that time to kind of get you guys going as the coaches stayed behind and let you guys figure it out on the court?
And we just gave up. We just gave up a big lead. We were up 10, and then they went on a 15-0 run. And we weren't just getting the stops. We were careless with the ball. That's been a big problem with us too, is turnovers. But in the second half, I think we kept the ball really good. I don't think we had that many turnovers in the second half.
Yeah, Mike just mentioned just 4 in the second half.
Just 4. That's huge for us. We have to get as many shots every time we have the ball. So that's really important.
What's huge as well, Joe, is you had a big day, 20 points, but it was those defensive stops that really took the lead down low, blocking shots with their best players. Really, Lehman, when they needed the points, they attacked on the inside, and you were there defensively to provide that lift. How important do you feel your defensive game is to this team?
Important. We're not a very big team, and our guards aren't big, our bigs aren't big, so we have to just fight down low. All these teams are trying to pound us down low, so we have to not foul. That's the biggest thing because we're not very deep, but we just have to fight for rebounds and do all the little things.
Joe, you guys were able to come out with a big win tonight. The remainder of your schedule, all against CUNYAC opponents. What are you looking to do for the final half of the season?
Just keep doing the things that we've been doing in practice. Keep going to the line, making free throws. Keep no turnovers. Fighting for rebounds, good defense, and just getting good shots every time we come down.
Congratulations on a big win, Joe. Thanks for coming over and joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Joe Ziris coming over, Dave. A huge game for the Dolphins here tonight as they come back from a 10-point deficit in the second half. And, it's what we've talked about all year long with this team, Dave. They keep playing.
Yeah, they're just not going to quit on you. It's just that simple. They might come up short. They might have off nights, but they're never going to quit. Staten Island recognizes when they're at home, they turn it up a level. They take pride in this facility. They take pride in this borough, and they take pride in the things that they're doing as a program to move forward, Mike. And you see that, and that resilience showed tonight against a pretty good Lehman side, Mike. A Lehman side that, to me, showed that they have a lot of talent. They're going to contend for a CUNY championship this year. There's no question. And the Dolphins, they got them this time around. They'll play again in the Bronx later in the season. That one should be fun as well. But the Dolphins gave us something to to be proud of tonight.
Yeah, it was an exciting game and a great night for the Dolphins as they win on both the men's and women's side, and the men up their record to 6-10 with a victory today, and they'll get to enjoy the week off before they get ready to play Baruch next week.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that they're going to be looking forward to as well. That kind of rematch from last year's CUNY championship. And, teams look a little different this year than they did a year ago, but the bottom line is those games are always good ones. And so much nicer to go into a break like that, Mike, coming off a win than a loss.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap things up here from the tank. The College of Staten Island defeating Lehman College by a final score of 69-66. So for my broadcast partner, Dave Pizzuto, our engineer, Joe Masha, Samantha Flecker, and Joe Foreman across the way, Anita Lorenzo, working the camera for us. Thanks for joining us. Our next broadcast will be Friday night as the women will face Cabrini with a 5:30 tip-off time and the pregame show beginning at 5:16. So once again, thanks for joining us, and don't forget to get all of the latest information about everything CSI Sports on csidolphins.com. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you Friday night.